Good day everyone, my name is Oluwasegun Bamigboye. Today on this video tutorial we'll be talking about the functions of law. Now before we talk about the functions of law, let us define law. It is a known thing generally that law has no specific definition, but in my own simple terms I will define law as a body of rules put in place by constituted authority to prohibit deviant behaviors. Now what are the functions of law? In my definition of law I said laws are put in place by constituted authority to prohibit deviant behaviors. So number one, law discourages deviant behaviors. So laws are put in place, to prohibit actions that might be a form of abuse to other members of the society. Because it is a generally known thing that in a society where there is no law, there is no offense. So for there to be an offense, there must be a law in society. And when an individual acts in a way that negates the provision of this law, then such an individual has breached the law, which can be described as a deviant behavior, depending on the action of the person. Number two, law maintains order in society. Like I said, law discourages deviant behavior. So when a law discourages deviant behavior in a society where everybody live in a way that aligns with the provision of the constitution, then they will be able to maintain peace and order in society. And also law guarantees human rights. Like chapter 4 of the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria contains several rights for citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, like your right to life, right to personal liberty, right to fair hearing, right to human dignity, and several other rights. This is part of the functions of the law as it guarantees the rights of the individuals. Also, law is a method of social control, which is our major focus in this tutorial. Now, what are the methods of social control? To begin with, what is method? Method is a technique, it is a process or a way of doing things. And there are several methods of social control, and each method seeks to achieve its own goal. And what is the goal? To maintain peace and order in society and to prohibit deviant behavior. Out of the various ones, like I mentioned, there are various methods of social control. I'll be talking on four, which is the penal technique, the grievance remedial technique, the conferral of social benefit, and the fiscal technique. One, the penal technique. Now, the penal technique is a method of social control that seeks to punish criminals. It seeks to abolish crimes. Now, according to Queenie, it is a technique that it defines specific laws. It puts in place sanctions on deviant behaviors, and then it puts in place designated authorities to implement these laws. So that is the major function of the penal, the major goal or the major aim of the penal technique. It spells out deviant behaviors, one. So after spelling out the deviant behaviors, it puts in place punishment. When there is a law that says this is against the law of our own society. So when there is a law in place in a society, then you can say this is the law. After stating the law, you state the punishment for going against the provision of that law or for violating the law, and then it also seeks to punish offenders. It states how to determine if they are guilty or not. Because according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, when the person is charged or alleged to have committed an offense, the person is sued to court, and in court you are given your right to fair hearing, where the accused is allowed to speak and then say their own part of the crime they have allegedly committed. And also, if they are found guilty, the penal technique also provides for the punishment for the law which they have violated. Although the penal technique might seem very good in theory, but to what extent is it actually enforced in our society of today? That is why we have the alternatives. Now, what are the alternatives? Number one, we have non-intervention. Non-intervention it is very much desirable that every crime in society should be every criminal in society should be penalized. However, there are some crimes that You just have to let them slide. You cannot just penalize every crime. Like now, the immoral sexual relationship between people, as in homosexuality, some are gay, lesbianism, and all of those things. In some countries this is regarded as a crime, but in some countries it is not. As in the case of ACULSS versus Fagbemi, it was held that adultery is not a crime. Why? Because it was not contained in the constitution of the country. It was not contained in any law of that country, in any written law of that country. Also, another alternative to the penal technique is the reciprocity or self-help. Reciprocity or self-help, according to Farah and Duggan, is regarded as an undeveloped and uncivilized behavior, which is actually very true. This is the popular thing that we call an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's the jump justice in a simple word. You know, for instance, now, Majesty stole Shegun's phone. Due to how expensive the phone is, Shegun decides to, beat Majesty. I can't take this. I have to beat him. I have to revenge this. Then you pick him up. It is a generally known thing. Go to places like Agege in Lagos, or all these local places. When they are able to catch a thief, the next thing they do is they take a tire, start burning the thief alive, and stuff like that. This is very uncivilized. This is job justice, and it is even against the law of the Federal Republic. Because in the process of seeking justice without following due process, even a person who is not guilty might be punished over an offense he or she knows nothing about. Also, we have the warning or caution. It is not in all cases of offense that you just punish a person. Some criminals are better warned, maybe not even criminals. In some cases of breach of the provision of the Constitution, the offender might just be warned. For example, it is a generally known thing that in a courtroom, decorum might be maintained. But I've been to courts several times where a person's phone will just ring in the courtroom, and then the judge would rather warn the person and stuff like that. And also, this is done in case of maybe a first-time offender, depending on the nature of the offense. Maybe it is a minor offense. The judge might just rather warn the offender, or in case of an infant committing a crime, the judge might just rather choose to warn the offender rather than punishing or punishing the offender. Mind you, this is usually done in minor cases, but when it is when it is a crime, you have no choice but to penalize the offender in most cases. Also, we have the other technique, which is the grievance remedial technique. The grievance remedial technique, unlike the penal technique, deals with civil offenses. Like, it is found in substantial parts of law. It's like law of thoughts, family law, law of contracts, and all of those. It provides for laws, and then these laws states the rights of the individual. And then when your rights is being violated, you can seek for remedy in the law court. This is basically what the grievance remedial technique is all about: seeking for justice, and it provides justice for the individual. Also, the grievance remedial technique also have some alternatives, but I won't be talking about. I'll talk on the alternatives, which are insurance, private settlement, and arbitration. Now, when we talk about private settlement is a case where maybe someone denied you of your civil rights, and then instead of taking the matter to the court, instead of taking the matter to the court, you just choose to talk things out with the person, settle it with the person in a way of mutual understanding. You both come to a mutual understanding, and then you talk things out. Also, we have the arbitration. It's almost similar to private settlement. This is a case where it is rather similar to a court session, but totally different. For instance, now, Majesty and Glory, they have an issue, and then Victor has an experience of this issue, or maybe Victor is an arbitrator, is into arbitration. Then they take the case to Victor. Victor sits on the matter for them, he calls the both of them, and then he hears from both parties what issue arose between them, and then he settles it between them amicably. The only issue, the only difference these hours with a court session is that you don't necessarily need a lawyer. Well, in today, people who are into arbitration also call lawyers, and even people who do arbitration, sometimes the end of the sessions are usually lawyers, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like a lawyer will be present. Also, we have insurance. Insurance is usually found in developed countries. This is when, for instance, Majesty bashed Victor's car, and then other than Victor penalizing him for violating the traffic rules, Victor would rather take the matter to his insurance company and then explain to his insurance company, and then the insurance company will take care of the damages of the car. Also, another method of social control through law, we have the fiscal technique. Fiscal technique, what is fiscal in the first place? Fiscal means government policies, usually taxation. This is when, well, in the olden days, taxation is seen as a way of generating funds for the government. But in Nigeria of today, or in the modern day, taxation is now seen as a way of curing antisocial damages and then bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. For instance, in Nigeria, the 1998 government increased the tax on gas flaring by 1,900%. This is to stop the irreversible damage. This was purposely to stop the irreversible damage caused by gas flaring, and also to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. You can recall in last year, 2024, Tinubu proposed a tax reform bill which stated that every person who earns 800k or below annually will be exempted from paying taxes, and then whoever earns 50 million and above will pay 25% tax, which is actually a very good idea, a logical reasoning, because I feel when you exempt those who are earning 800k or less in Nigeria of today, when you exempt them from paying taxes, I feel it is a way of making their business grow. It will help their business grow. But when you impose the tax on the rich, you can actually, it's a way of generating funds from the rich who wouldn't actually feel it as much as the poor. And then it bridges the gap between the rich and the poor in a way that it helps the government to generate the funds they need to develop the country, and then it helps the poor also to develop their businesses, and then they grow in their career too. Also, another method of social control through law, which is the last one I'll be talking about, is the conferral of social benefits. Conferral of social benefits basically deals with taking care of the people. It seeks to take care of the welfare of the people. For instance, provision of healthcare, social amenities like buy-one water, healthcare, education, and all of those things. The goal of this technique is that if the social amenities are made available to the people, then it will discourage deviant behaviors in society. In a situation whereby you have all that you need, you will be discouraged from going into crime. For example, in a country where in recent times, we've been having cases of the public servants protesting against the government of the state or the governments of Nigeria. Imagine if the needs of these people are met. ASU members' salary is paid on time, the civil servants receive their salary on time. Why would they want to go to work? Why would they want to work? Why will they want to go into crime? And if there is enough job opportunities that youth can apply, and then they get the job they want, even if not the job they want, they get a job, they get engaged in what they are doing. This will help to discourage crime in our country, because it is a very known thing that most criminals of today, they are into crimes because of unemployment. So I feel the major focus of this conferral social benefit technique is that it believes if the needs of the members of the society is met, then there will be no need for them to engage in criminal activities. So basically, the methods of social control through law, they vary, but the goal of all this method is that to maintain law and order in society, to prohibit deviant behavior, and then to make the country grow. Because if everybody live by the provision of the law, then the country will definitely grow. Thank you.